But we got to talk NBA before we talk NFL because there's some great games tonight. I'm pumped about it. This whole playoff run has been a lot of fun. Playoffs just gives us something to do every night, things to talk about.
And you know what you gotta say? It's been ideal. I mean, the NBA's got to be like, they're doing the Mr. Burns right now. Like, yes. Every series is 3-2. There's no series that's done. Every series has gone back and forth. And the teams that were losing are fighting back, like the Warriors winning last night, the Knicks staying alive. So as of right now.
Did you see the very viral video of Steph Curry as The Undertaker? And he comes back up to choke.
Yeah.
LeBron last night, back from the dead.
We shall see, but let's talk AD, Cove, because we just, during the break, we kept watching the video over and over because I'm like, maybe the first 20 times we all watch this, I'm missing something.
Well,
forearm, elbow,
D'Angelo Russell's driving up. Everybody's trying to go up for the rebound. He gets hit in the face by Looney. It doesn't look like anything major at all. I mean, it doesn't mean he didn't get hurt.
I mean, it didn't look
like anything drastic.
You know what? It didn't look that bad when Ryan Garcia got hit in the stomach by Tank Davis, and that was the end of the fight.
Different angles could tell a different story. And remember, Ryan Garcia was susceptible to injury, and maybe that's just it with AD too. Maybe he's a little fragile, a little susceptible to getting hurt.
Must be Italian.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Ryan Garcia. He had a rib injury, right? So you aggravate that rib injury, you get hit in the body. It's going to hurt a little more than it normally would. So AD gets hit in the face, and I think the backstory is, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's dizzy, right? He's dizzy. So trainers do what I think they should do in that moment, and the story is that they bring him in a wheelchair. And then once that word gets out, it seems like, man, how soft could you be? You need a wheelchair for that? And some of the old school, the old guards of the NBA find it to be funny. And I get it. Because you're like, really?
I'll tell you what.
It's also protocol, right?
As a broadcaster, and, when you're even working at all in the media, every day someone says or does something dumb, and you're like, I don't want to get in trouble. So my first instinct is like, I'm not saying a word. But if everyone else is saying something, maybe I will.
Don't be a hater.
Danny, you're a Lakers fan. More than anyone I know. You're number one in my book, pal.
I don't know, man. Those barbers at the barbershop were ready to bounce.
They were ready to give you an incomplete haircut for the Lakers.
That's some dedication.
I was talking to Jack Nicholson the other day. He's a pretty big fan.
Spot that is true. Adam Sandler was pretty. The Sandman was pretty hyped the other day too, right?
Weekend at Bernie's. Jack Nicholson didn't even know where he was.
Right.
So, when you look at it, is your first instinct like, really, or are we just missing like a really, anything to your head or face is going to hurt, but doesn't that seem like just a chippy under the rim type of thing?
Yeah, it didn't look like much to me either. But then again, Mike, who runs this place?
Of course.
Who? Yeah.
Before the show, he was saying that it hit him in the soft of the head right here. So,
the soft
yeah. I mean,
if that's the
is
case,
he a baby?
No, that's the top of the head spot.
That's his
the
fontanelle.
I thought he got
a fontanelle.
No, but he hit him in the temple,
in the
right?
temple, yeah.
Right.
And so
The Temple of Doom.
we don't know what that could lead to or what that's like unless it happens to us. But I will say that even though I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, my God, what a vicious hit. There should have been a foul on that call. No, I thought maybe he had a little bit of blurry vision. I thought he was going to bounce. I thought he was going to come back in.
Danny G, when you watch a video on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, someone swings on like a rope by a lake and they fall.
I know the videos you watch.
And they... Not those videos.
I've seen your algorithm, man.
Different website.
Someone swings on a rope, they let go too soon, they hit some rocks and fall in the water. The minute you find out, like, they're okay, you look at the comments, like, they're okay.
Yeah.
Then you could laugh. Like, some little kid.
That's a great rule to live by and an analogy, too.
Yeah. Some little kid goes down a slide at the park and he hits his head like, doom, 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 doom. Fun. You know when it's funny? It's funny when the parent comments like, oh, he was fine.
Oh, yeah.
Then you can laugh.
Well, you want to laugh, but you're like, I got to hold it in.
Because he's fine, could we laugh now at the wheelchair? Could we laugh?
Yes, because the update, I saw McMiniman and the Lakers report. I believe the quote is, there is no scenario where AD doesn't play in Game 6. because there was speculation for a second, right? So no scenario where he doesn't play in Game 6. So I think now you can laugh.
Look at Covino's pretending like his chair is a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But last night, none of this was clear. And, and we were like, even though it didn't look that bad, we were hearing that it was a possible concussion. And then they go to the post game inside the NBA, and those guys are laughing and making jokes.
Do we have the clip of these
listen.
uncontrollable? They were acting like a bunch of buffoons, and I loved it.
Game 6. These guys, man. I know what they're about.
I think I do too, but what are you laughing about?
You know what they're laughing
I'm laughing at Chuck.
Shaq, I know what they're laughing at. You understand?
Shaq is over there crumbling up paper. That's why I was laughing.
That's not what I'm
I'm laughing at Chuck.
Tell the truth. They understand.
Oh, man.
They were both pretending like their chairs were wheelchairs.
By the way, risky move, especially in today's overly sensitive world, especially when concussions are a really serious thing. Maybe not in NBA, but still serious. And just the climate in which we live, right? It's like, as I was watching that, you know when you're just laying there and you're not really paying attention? I noticed they were laughing. I'm like, are they? But I wasn't certain. Like, I couldn't believe at first, like, they're not laughing at AD,
but that's what I love about Charles Barkley and Shaq. They're unapologetic.
Yeah.
And you know what?
But it's risky, man.
Based on the outcome, we could all laugh like Charles and Shaq now. You know what it's like, Spot? I'll give you, we talk about when people fall. It's like you ever see someone at a Buffalo Bills game, some moron jump through a table on fire, and they miss slightly?
Yeah.
You can laugh once you realize that person didn't die. So AD's playing, not even a concussion. And, I think someone was saying Gottlieb earlier on the network was saying how there's not even a concussion protocol in the NBA really because it's not really something that happens a lot. It's not an issue. It's not the NFL where wide receivers and running backs are getting caught over the middle, getting popped or something, they're not a quarterback getting blindsided.
It's still a physical game, though, and you see that that's one of the ways the Warriors have been able to crawl back into this series a little bit. When the Lakers were blowing them out, it's because they were just chucking up shots and they weren't driving into the lane against AD. They were not physical enough. And when they finally were able to get to the free throw line, it's because they were playing more physical.
Well, look, we've seen worse, right? Paul Pierce went off in a wheelchair because he doo-dooed his pants,
I mean, I was going to ask, did AD doo-doo his pants?
So
maybe do you think it was like one of those, like, when you get startled? Like, maybe he got, like, hit in the head, startled. Oh,
yeah, but at least there was an actual injury. And you know what? If AD, now you got to tie it into what we talked about yesterday, right? Yesterday we said that LeBron James gave advice to his teammates, and that's to stay off social media and to watch any playoff game with the sound off, to not be influenced in any way, so that you don't get anything in your head, so you don't get rattled, so you focus on the games.
Are you saying there's an exception?
I'm saying I wonder if AD is aware that they were clowning him, that social media was clowning him last night, and does that help or hurt him? Does that light his fire? Does that create an angry AD, which Danny G always says is the best AD?
Yeah. When it's an angry AD, that's when he's playing at the top of his game. And so as a Lakers coach.
Imagine if you were him, like how infuriated you'd be to know that you really were
Dude,
hurt.
if I'm Austin Reeves, if I'm D'Angelo Russell, if I'm you know what I'm doing? I'm being like, yo, you see Charles Barkley and
sharing
Shaq?
it with him, yeah.
Yo, look at this. Yo, do you see Stephen A? You see Gottlieb? You see anyone that said I would be showing
Stephen
him
A
everything.
went off on him too, man. Everybody was laughing at AD this morning.
Anthony Davis recently said that he's been off social media for 4 months. As a teammate or a coach on that staff, I'm going up to him and I'm like, dude, I need you to go check social media, and I want you to stay on there for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Is he the type of guy that would play?
You're right,
is he the type of guy that would play well angry? We learned from this season of Ted Lasso, sometimes playing angry makes you worse. But I do think AD is one of those guys. If he realizes everyone's making fun of him, I could see AD dropping 40 in Game 6.
There's times where he plays passive and disinterested, and that's the worst version of him. When he's engaged and he's angry about what's going on or what's being said, like remember the whole street clothes thing? He got angry over that, and we saw the results on the court. And now I would like this to be another log on the fire to hype him up for Friday.
So, yeah, drama's building. But, look, from the fans' perspective, even from LeBron's perspective, we were all like, really? He's that hurt? So we didn't know what to think, but now we know he's okay. So now you could laugh. I think they jumped the gun last night, but as a result, we might see a fire under AD's ass that the Lakers need to push them ahead and to move on.
I'll be honest, Charles and Shaq and everyone, I'm not saying they're lucky, but they should be like, whew, thank God he's okay.
And by the way, even Draymond Green backed them up. I don't know if you saw that quote, too. He said, hey, one small hit to your head could change everything in your life.
I think people are being a little bit insensitive.
Dude, they were way insensitive last night.
Very insensitive.
Before they knew anything.
Think about celebrities that, like, they're skiing and they hit their head and they think everything's okay, and then they die. So, I mean, I know it's not as severe, but
you don't.
when it comes
to
to matters of the head, like, you never know what's going on up
look,
there.
and it looked like
Your
nothing to
brain's
us,
in
right?
there. You know your
Isn't
brain?
it saying it matters of the heart usually?
No, it's a head.
Okay.
No,
your
but
brain. You know your
Imagine
brain,
you
how
get
complex
hit-
your brain is?
How big is Looney, by the way? So, just like we watched
Bigger
Jokic
they are, the harder
push,
they fall.
You remember when we saw Jokic push the owner of the Suns? It looked like the owner sort of took a flop. But I did wonder, like, well, no, maybe he's that strong. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Right?
When was the last time you had a guy 6'5" to 7 foot like bump into you or shove you?
Looney is 6'9".
Okay, so 6 foot. All right, it didn't look like
Saturday.
much, but imagine getting hit in the temple by a dude who's 6'9", 300 pounds.
You want
I don't
to
know.
experiment?
No, I
I'll
don't.
call our buddy Ryan Hollins in here. Do a little experiment.
I don't.